The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading, coming into a long weekend. Monday, Martin Luther King Day, markets closed. Also happens to be January 20th, Inauguration Day. We may get some executive orders. We're going to see where this market positions itself coming into a new administration. And so far, you got higher prices right now across the board. NASDAQ 100, how about 1.5% in the positive? Up 326 points, 21,576. You're actually just getting above the highs of yesterday morning. Yeah, you're talking about almost 400 points down, 400 points up. 400 points from there in terms of where we were coming into that CPI number on Wednesday. NASDAQ 100 strong. We'll get into it. S&P's up 0.8%, 2023, up by 47. Now you take a look at the S&P, right? NASDAQ as well. A series of lower highs and lower lows, right? Whether you have the high from December 26th, the high from January 6th, the high we're experiencing right now on January 17th, the lows, they correlate. You back it up to the NASDAQ 100, we were just looking at, pretty well defined. Even back this up. Got to go back a little bit further than that. Where does this begin? Around December 11th. But you can see, just getting above that level. We get a breakaway. It's possible. 21,585, as I mentioned, the NASDAQ 100, up pushing 1.6%. Yeah, quite a nice bounce at 42,000 on the Dow only 4 days ago. Just like that, we're 1,600 points higher. You're up by 0.6% today, 267 points in the green. And the Russell up by almost 1% on the dot, up 22 points at 2301. Bitcoin going to become a national priority. That's per the Trump administration. Headlines out there at least. So Bitcoin, 103,000, up another $2,500. Crude, trading at 77.52 right now. You jump over to gold. Quite the run up. We're getting a bit of a pullback this morning. 27.37, down by $13 on the session technically. The dollar's still above 109, and you're talking about gold pushing 27.50 with the dollar at 109.25 right now. The dollar, and we got yields right now at about 4.58. I think we're at this morning. Let me pull it up. 4.58. The yield on the 10-year. Yeah, there's your daily. Quite a bounce. You're talking about a bounce of 1.5 points, right? We hit a low of 107.06. Sometimes, folks, patience can be key, right? You look for opportunities. You look for technical areas. Sometimes, folks, you really got to wait for, imagine on this whole slide from 115 to 107, okay? You could have been waiting a few months for the bounce. Yeah, you would have missed one in November, all right? But you could have said, you know what, I'm going to wait until I give myself 5 ticks. If this gets within 5 ticks, that's where I'm going to be a buyer at whatever yield we're at coming into the April lows. Now, technically, on a 3-year, you have 105.10 hanging out here. Okay, that's another area you could have waited to. We'll see if this one holds. But, it's sometimes not a coincidence. That's an area you may get a bounce in. We got a bounce going of 1.5 points. You got the 10-year at 4.58%. All the talk was 5% yields. And, it's only 2 or 3 days, so we will see. But nonetheless, we have a reprieve following some CPI data out there. The only thing I will say is there is a risk coming into this weekend with executive orders and tariffs that is out there. You better recognize that risk. You better protect yourself, because even if it's an outlier risk, okay, you want to make sure that you're open to the volatility that you're in, because I don't even expect, as much as I'm not a fan of Trump on certain things, okay, I don't expect that he's going to go scorched earth on tariffs. Even from a negotiating standpoint, it almost makes a lot more sense, right? To be focused, and then maybe you go 2 to 5% a month. You ramp up the pressure every single month. It forces negotiations. But guess what? that doesn't mean that he just might not try and wow the crowd on day one and go big. I don't know, but that risk is there. And it's pretty interesting. You don't get a lot of opportunities where you come into a 3-day weekend, we come back with a new president with some potentials for some very different policies in place from the last administration. Yields 4.58. We'll keep our eye on it with the dollar, though, pushing above 109. All right. And what do we got going on this morning? Yeah, how about this one? We'll kick it off. Weight loss drugs. Well, guess what? Novo Nordisk, the U.S., they plan to negotiate price. I don't understand how that even becomes. This is where, Trump swoops into certain areas, it seems, where public consensus, why would you not think that when we have an obesity epidemic, that Medicare is somehow not going to want to negotiate price for weight loss drugs? But that's the news out there. Novo Nordisk down dramatically on the fact that they're going to have to negotiate on price with the U.S. government. Where was it? There it is. Yeah, so 15 prescription drugs, including Ozempic and Wegovy, would be subject to price negotiation between manufacturers and Medicare. What is it? NO. And what do they trade under? Is that it? I don't think that's going to be it. They an ADR? Yeah. I'll have to figure out how to pull them up. But not surprising, those medical stocks, man, this market on fire. Let's jump around to some of the Magnificent Seven. So, boy, we got S&P's up almost 1%. NASDAQ 100 up 1.65%. You're just about to break out of this uptrend channel. We'll see if that can hold. Going back to the highs of December 17th, a month ago to the day. And, yeah, you did check out the usual culprits. That's what's doing it, man. Look at Amazon. You're going to be up more than $4. Look at this acceleration we got going on, man. 225 we're pushing right now. Mammoth moves across the board. You jump over to Apple shares. You're up from 227 to 231. Tough day for Apple yesterday. Microsoft, MSFT. Yeah, look at these runs, man. Microsoft. You're going to be opening $6 in the positive. Tesla, SpaceX had a rocket explode, but that won't slow down Tesla. Up $7 to 420. Look at Google, man. These stocks are on fire. We'll see if we can hold. It's going to be an interesting one coming into a long weekend. Not a lot of... It's a special event, to put it lightly. So don't expect that you have today in terms of how it may go. You may see some volatility in both directions as you get positioned for a weekend ahead of some pretty potential news-breaking executive orders that come in. I keep stressing it. But it's an interesting one. 3-day holiday, MLK, kids off for school. Will be closed on Monday. We got live programming today. But yeah, jump over to some others. Salesforce up $6, almost $8. Look at the runs in these equities, man. Zuckerberg, $10 higher to 621.68 from 610. It's a big open. We'll see if we can hold. And the NASDAQ 100 breaking above that 21,500 level, above the highs we had early yesterday, and we're up by 1.6% right now. We jump over to NVIDIA. Up a couple dollars as well. NVIDIA CEO not going to be at the inauguration. He's in East Asia, they say. It's like, who's going to be there, who's not? Hey, sometimes that matters. We'll see. Markets in the positive, folks. Friday trading beginning. We got 15 minutes to the opening bell. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Don't go away. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. We got JP Morgan shares. You're trading up by about $1 to $2.54. So banks, they crush it in earnings and they trade higher. You look at some of these equities, right? I mean, you check out JP Morgan, 2012 prices, $36 to $2.54. Quite the pullback during the pandemic, of course. Since then, up about 150%. They're the largest one out there, but I only picked them up ahead of the headline, man. And you talk about some money and just, having lived through the financial crisis and seeing the type of money the banks are making and the need for regulatory relief that comes at the expense. It's a risk versus reward situation, right? Yes, you drop the regulations. There's greater reward because they have less regulations to keep capital on hand. The risk goes up, period. That's it. Risk versus reward. Nothing in life, folks. Okay, reward, risk. It's kind of across the board. Anybody tells you, right, that they're going to give you an interest rate that is above the risk-free rate of return, whether you're talking about guaranteed from, the Treasury, overnight lending, whatever it is, there's reward and risk go hand in hand. You lighten the regulations, the risk goes up. And when you look at these types of numbers, okay, you're talking about $100 billion in buybacks, and you combine dividends in terms of giving back to share. $100 billion last year. Yeah, buyback $65 billion, dividends $41 billion. You take a look at what these banks have done since 2021. Yeah, $113 billion, 66, 77, and 107, 106. What is that? 130. You're at 143, 243, 253, 256, 356, 362, $362 billion in just given back to shareholders in the form of dividends and buybacks. remarkable 4 years in the banks. They're all trading higher. You look at those charts. So keep that in mind when you talk about the banks being under pressure as you have regulatory relief. Do they really need relief when they're making that much money? It doesn't seem like they need relief. So keep, I worry when banks are making that much money, okay? And yes, there's capitals there, but we've seen how quickly it can happen, the likes of Silicon Valley Bank. And remember, folks, okay, that greed is the nature. Remember the decisions that Silicon Valley Bank made. I have to chuckle at them, right? They took a generational amount of deposits that everyone got when we had surplus money. Everybody's getting all the cash in the world. They took all of that and they put it in 30-year securities at near zero interest rates. And they never said to themselves, what happens if rates actually go up? And we need to pay out some of those deposits that we've taken and locked in record low interest rates. Yeah, and they went BK and they had almost $200 billion. So, moronic decisions can get made at the highest of levels, and they continue to. Why? From most of the part, greed. Yeah, as that was a very greedy situation, thinking that you would be an ego sometimes maybe, but you allow people to make decisions like that, and you look at charts like this where they're making almost $400 billion and not making. That's just the money they're giving back. Okay? Yeah, remarkable. Big numbers. SpaceX, did you see the visuals, man? Pretty remarkable visuals. They were up there. I thought they were going to show. They had a rocket explode. Not going to slow them down. They got the seventh one planned pretty shortly, I believe. But nonetheless, yeah, that was the seventh mission. They have another one going off. And it exploded during a test flight Thursday. But more tantalizing than anything. All right, when you look on the policy front, you got to talk about it, man. We come back Monday. Yeah, market opens in 7 minutes, folks. We got one trading day. You come back, it's a new administration. And you got to remember the rhetoric. Dictator on day one, 100, right? His words, 100 executive orders looks like going to be the number. Point being, things are going to happen quickly here on day one. We'll find out actually some of the policies that are going to be in place. All we can do is speculate, okay, until that transfer of power takes place. It takes place. And yeah, he's talking to, I believe it was senators, right? Senate Republicans, okay? And telling them, get in line or get out of the way, man. He's doing it. He's going to overhaul the immigration system and reshape the country's relationship with allies. And it's going to be interesting if even Republican senators who have shown a little pause to try and keep Trump in check are going to be left behind. What does that mean about the policies that are coming down the line, right? And there it is. Already prepared roughly 100 executive orders, told lawmakers in the meeting, said he would press the limits of his presidential authority at times to go it alone on those issues. Okay, so get ready for it, man. That is in the meeting with the Republican senators in terms of pressing the authority to go it alone. All right, we kick things off. Ready to go. We talked about Bitcoin, and yeah, you're going to get one of those 100 is going to be talking about Trump. Talking about Bitcoin, a national priority as soon as day one of the new term. So Bitcoin higher, there's a lot of expectations, folks, but guess what? A lot of expectations are priced in. That's all I'll say. I saw a great video on Ripple yesterday talking about that. People talk about Ripple could have the type of acceleration you might have seen in Bitcoin, right? You get that. You got to keep in mind the supply of some of these cryptocurrencies, okay? We had a great question in the den talking about, hey, what would prevent Trump from maybe creating a national Ripple, right, balance for the national treasury? Keep in mind the supply of those tokens. That's usually what can doom any token. You get the type of run-up in Ripple that you had in Bitcoin, you're talking about a value that's $50 trillion that's worth, multiples and multiples and multiples of the U.S. GDP. Bitcoin only has 22 million. Many crypto coin creators, they create them much larger. So don't expect those same types of runs in some of these cryptos when you look at the run Bitcoin has had. But yeah, Bitcoin, all this optimism from 55,000 That's what's happening right now. That's why Bitcoin has almost doubled in price. So can it go higher longer term? Yes, I think so. But many times, what do they say? Buy the rumor, sell the news? Well, the run-up has occurred. Now the news is coming. Okay? We only got a 2% reaction in Bitcoin. We're getting 2% moves every single day. You can't even pinpoint the point on this chart. As I'm talking about this, it's almost telling myself even more bearish, man. I mean, was this the point the news break at 8:30? You can't even pinpoint on this chart where the news breaks that there's going to be an executive order from the incoming president that Bitcoin is a national priority. Do you know why? Because it's already baked in. That is an astounding news story if you go back any period of time. But we already knew that was going to happen, and Bitcoin did. Yeah, you're pushing highs, but man, pretty muted for such a substantial news event. All right, folks, markets pushing pre-market highs. S&P's up by 52. We're coming back for the opening bell. Don't go away.
This market has turned red, Tigers, and the question we should be asking ourselves is how to position for a potential bear market. Plenty of gains can be made in bull markets, but if we've entered bearish territory, that strategy needs to change. So, how do we pivot so we can see green in the red? Join Larry this month, January 10th and 24th for live trading action. You'll sit next to Larry as he places live trades, explains his methodology, and answers questions live. Larry brings his decades of trading knowledge directly to you, teaching you how to navigate this shifting market. Go to the front page of TFNN.com today and secure your spot fast for live trading Fridays with Larry Pesavento. Happy New Year, Tigers. We'll see you January 10th and 24th. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We get the markets open. S&Ps open up about 0.8%, or 50 points in the positive at 6,026. NASDAQ 100 up 1.7%, up 360 points, 21,606. Dow up about 0.7% right now, 287 points in the green. And you get the Russell up by 20 at 2298. Bitcoin, as I said, national priority by executive order of the incoming president. 103,000 on the dot for Bitcoin. Crude at 77.31. And you jump over to that gold contract facing a little bit of a heat as we got some dollar strength yet again, even with yields. Can't hold this dollar down, man, huh? As I say that. Look at that little pullback in the last few minutes. Whew, that's quite a move. From 109.4 to 109.2, we come into the opening bell. And we take a look at yields. Yeah, as you pair things slightly. The 10-year sitting at 4.6% right now. You know, you talk about what could be happening this year. Yeah, a couple, and I saw this one. You know, they're all coming. Those Waymo taxis. I see some horror story videos on them, though. I think I might let... You know how when Apple announces a new update for your phone, sometimes the best thing to do is to not update to it just yet, especially if it's in beta, and you let the kinks get sorted out, and then you upgrade your phone to the most recent operating system. Might be the best use of case for robotaxis as they come down the line. But Amazon, they're going to be joining the fray. Commercializing robotaxi operations this year. Seems like 2025 you're talking about in coming years. Folks, it's going to be February before we know it. Plans to start rides to the public quite soon, expanding operating regions. Las Vegas expected to be the first commercial market and hopes to launch an early rider program there in coming months. You really want to be on the beta? Boom, it's coming to you, man. In Vegas, opening it up to the general public. I mean, it's almost like they get people on the ride, right, in Vegas. There's your robotaxi, man. You think about the amount of time that somebody could save. I think about it myself in terms of living around Lakeland, Florida, spending a substantial amount of time in St. Petersburg, in Tampa, Clearwater, surrounding areas, South Tampa. The amount of time for productivity, if you're able to take a vehicle like that that's self-driving, it's going to change things. And then when are we going to have self-flying planes coming? Zoox was founded a decade ago, purchased by Amazon, $1.3 billion in 2020. So about 5 years is what they're talking about. You purchase it for $1.3 billion. Talk about taking time to bring things to the forefront. Jesse Livingston. Yeah, and that's probably the most appropriate design. I only say that in that you don't need to stare forward, right? It's more like a bus. It's more like a train. You want a little bit of space, a little luxury. Let me pop open my laptop. You get some work done. And yeah, I'd say it's coming quicker than most people realize. All right, market gives it back a little bit in the first minutes on the open, but you're still talking about a NASDAQ up by 1.5% right now. Watch out, man. Speaking of the future in cars, yeah, Rivian, they're a little bit higher. So they finalized a loan agreement with the Department of Energy for up to $6.6 billion to help build a new manufacturing site in Georgia. Construction set to begin next year, with the production of customer vehicles starting in 2028. I mean, how do you compete with these companies when you got a lead time like that, right? It just speaks to how hard it was to do what Elon did, breaking into that car industry. Rivian, you know, they get a sweetheart deal, as in $6.6 billion, okay, is the loan that they're getting with the Department of Energy. Now, I say sweetheart, as in there's a lot of companies that would fight for that amount of debt just to go forward with a business like that. Construction takes a year. First cars are going to take 2 years after that, and you're taking out almost a $7 billion loan that you're not going to start to see any production for 3 years. All right. We jump over to Salesforce, so they got a little bit of an upgrade. They're up by 1.9%, I guess. Who popped them? TD Cowen upgraded shares to buy from a hold. The ARM Holdings CEO, they're going to be there. And, you know, it's remarkable that you think about so many companies, so few companies almost, right? The Magnificent Seven leading the way. Many are going to be at the inauguration. Can't fault them when government regulation so key to what they're doing across the board. But NVIDIA CEO, he's not going to be there. They say he's visiting East Asia this week, which he typically does around the Lunar New Year. Nonetheless, he won't, but everybody else is going to be there, it seems like. You're going to have Tim Cook, right? Bezos. Elon, of course, is going to be there. Zuckerberg, I believe, is going to be there as well. And yeah, so we'll see, but that's Monday. I think coverage starts at 11, I heard somewhere. Maybe that was even on Bloomberg they were talking about when I was watching them earlier this morning. Yeah, and ARM Holdings, that's what I was thinking. They'll be there as well. So NVIDIA is not going to be there, but ARM's going to be there. Up by 0.9% for ARMs. You jump over to Intel shares. So the story breaks on Intel. Yeah, didn't talk about this one yet. News out that they might get acquired. Should have probably been out there, but when did that hit? All right, I'll have to pull up the story. But yeah, the news out there that they might be looking for an acquisition. Let's see. Let's see what hits. Yeah, we'll pull it up. Potential acquisition chatter is how they put it. Yeah, I haven't found the exact hardcore details on it, but nonetheless, you're popping by 7.3% on the open for Intel shares, up $1.42 to $21.93. You know, if you want to take a flyer, this is it. Be aware that it can go to zero, though. Okay, risk versus reward. They have a lot of government stimulus loans that they're going to be taking advantage of. Okay, you're trading at $21. You're trading at Intel at the same price that you could have bought in this equity back in 1997, January of 1997. Okay, so risk reward, yeah, you're there, but you know why you're getting it at $21? Like we talked about in the beginning of the program, risk equals reward. Okay, you're getting it at $21, the same price you could have paid for it 28 years ago, because there's a substantial risk this goes to zero. Okay, they turn this around. Yeah, you better believe you're worth well more than $21 a share if you become a player in the chip industry again, which is the hopes of that company and some of the stimulus that we're providing them. To have a player like Intel, an American company in that chip business, but it's a far reach, and it's an asymmetric bet to a certain degree, right? As in, you're buying this with the dramatic knowledge that you were at one point trading at 3 to 4 times the price, and you haven't had any appreciation in 28 years. This is substantial risk that the writing's on the wall. You look at this chart, breaking below the lows we had at the beginning of 2023. But if they turn it around, now, the other thing that comes into that is maybe someone buys them at this valuation. Because, yeah, you're talking about a company right now with a $90 billion valuation. Man. Hey, maybe. You know, you buy them, you get the stimulus the government's giving them on top of it. But boy, that's going to be quite a number when the stock is trading with a $90 billion valuation. All right, folks, markets in the positive. Stay tuned. We're coming right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets holding on to the gains right now, up by 0.8% in the S&Ps, Nasdaq 100. Still, we drop, about 150 points, but you're still up by 1.3%. We'll see. As I say, holding on to it. That's a 15-minute. We put it on a 1 minute to see the slide. Yeah, we peak out just coming into that market right now. We've been shopping around for the last few minutes or so at this price level, 21,523. The Dow actually pushes higher on the open. Right, so tech stocks give it back a bit. Of course, that's going to impact the S&P as well. Yeah, we check out the usual culprits. Apple still up by 0.9%. Microsoft shares, they give back $5 just like that, but still up by 1.2%. Ooh, look at this rip. All right, the day is young, 13 minutes into the trading session, but the market saying we might have got a little overjoyed. Bend. Meta, you got $9 just like that. Remember, folks, this is where things get wild, right? Meta just gave up $9. This entire stock was trading at $90 almost 2 years ago. The run it has had, but it just, the valuation, the move, that is quite a move when you're talking about that we just had a $10 move up, $10 move down. Meanwhile, you back it up a couple years ago, this equity was trading at $90. All right, we got to watch out here. Things are happening quickly. We just got a 200-point drop in the NASDAQ 100 right now. We jump over to Tesla shares. Not Tesla. Elon. Sitting front row, I'm sure. Going to be interesting to see where everybody is placed for the inauguration. Tesla up by 2.6% right now. NVIDIA holds on to the gains, up by 2%. Amazon still up by 1.5%. You give up a few dollars on the pullback there. Yeah, things are reverberating a bit right now. We got yields on the rise yet again. And how about the dollar? Okay, dollar at 109.25, and we jump. So, new Treasury Secretary. He's talking about dollar strength, man. Yeah, Treasury Secretary says dollar's global status is critical to the U.S. economy, and I'm glad he thinks that, because we saw a lot of Trump talking about, not liking a strong dollar, right? And yes, short term, okay, and everything. There's always truth lies in somewhere in between, right? Not the nuances and context of the conversation, okay? So yes, you don't want too strong of a dollar, because then nobody can buy your goods, okay? You also don't want too weak of a dollar, because then you can't buy anybody else's goods, right? And inflation, when you're importing goods to any degree, blows things out of proportion. But on a longer term basis, okay, the dollars we possess and the strength you possess, it helped us out immensely for inflation when many other countries, okay, you're facing dollar strength, they had their own currency's weakness. And what did that do? That made everything they were buying even more expensive, which was a strain on their economy, and we're still seeing the implications of that. We must secure supply chains that are vulnerable to strategic competitors, and we must carefully deploy sanctions as part of a whole government approach to address national security, okay? And critically, we must ensure that the U.S. dollar remains the world's reserve currency. Now, that's been at the forefront for a while, but we'll see how things play out here, because you're talking about a lot coming down the line this weekend. Trade policies, of course. Yeah, he wants to extend those tax cuts. They're not paid for. And they don't, I say they, the coming administration, they don't plan to pay for them. But how is that going to play out with yields, dollar, etc.? Because if the plan is just to, anyway, it speaks for itself, right? The bond market is going to have something to say here if things get out of whack, and that's going to be the most interesting thing, right? The bond market, yields, the cost of capital, the debt, the deficit, it's a spiraling nature. And we'll see what happens. And the tax cuts, I'm sure, are coming back. They're not going to be paid for. What's the bond market going to say about that as the amount of debt continues to go? What's the dollar going to play into? As traders, we could have some real volatility here. And that, they say it can be a trader's best friend. It can smack you in the face as well, folks. Okay? The reason why I brought up that bond trade even, right? You don't have to allow huge losses when you get markets moving with this type of degree, okay? You don't have to accept huge losses. You look at the bounce we have in the 10-year, within 2 ticks of the low almost a year ago, okay? And just like that, we're still almost 1.5 points higher. Many times, you don't have to give yourself far. If you catch the run, okay, on the momentum side, there's going to be some big rallies, whether you're talking about yields or you're talking about markets or you're probably talking about equities as well. Because let me tell you, if this is the reversal at the top end of this channel, and boy, that was quite a spike above it, okay, and where this line naturally rests, you could be a little bit lower naturally. If you study linear regression, right, it's the square of the differences. Where does the top of that line rest? Maybe somewhere like that, somewhere like that. So we'll see when we come back down. Yes, this looks to be a possible breakout, 21,526. But yeah, you're also talking about a market that just went straight down from the open, and we're 150 points off that open right now, up 283. But boy, what happened to Zuckerberg's front row seat at the inauguration, man? Facebook won't stop dropping. No, you're still positive by 0.5%, but yes, we dropped by almost $12 in Meta shares. You're still up by 289. The drop in Microsoft. Yeah, don't be surprised if we get rip-roaring rallies and declines today in both directions. All right, we jump back to that gold contract. Gold sitting at 27.44. Look at gold clawing back some of that losses. Yeah, look at gold since the open. We're up by another $10 to 27.44. A little bit of dollar weakness right now. Just watching the correlation in these markets, right? There's your rise in gold. The dollar just dropped from 109.40 to 109.18 right now. We have the dollar dropping. Interesting, we have dollar dropping as you have yields actually rising. These relationships are still getting figured out. The 10-year, the dollar, gold, where people are going for, whether it's safety and it's not safety today, but it is safety since 9:30, you could say, right, as the markets pull back a bit. But yeah, that relationship, as in you have the dollar strength coordinating with gold strength to a certain degree, and we're only $50 away from all-time highs in gold, man. 28.01 back there at the end of October. There's your long-term chart in gold. And let's just see out of curiosity when you talk about, yeah, 27.23. I knew we were just above it, but A to B, C to D, right where we are. Doesn't mean you can't do it again. Now, here's what's interesting, right? We're completing these A to B, C to Ds across the board on gold. There's your longer term. Starts in 2001. The highs of 2011. We pull back and you do it again. Okay, now we take that one off the chart. What's interesting is you can make the case that we just did it again. There's 1, 2, 3. And that was 25.31. And that was the move that began when gold was at $1,200. the run up to the highs of 2020, the pullback, and you do it again. We'll finish this up on gold. On the other side, folks, stay tuned. One more segment. Be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back out here. So the news out there, of course, China. Xi sending his top delegate, right? Is it the vice president that's going to be at the inauguration? But President-elect Trump and President Xi discuss trade and TikTok ahead of that inauguration. Pull this one over. So that pushes the market higher pre-market, and you can see how the market holding on so far, but we'll see if it stays there. I just spoke to Chairman Xi. Trump posted on social media. The call was a very good one for both China and the USA. Does that mean 60% tariffs are off the board? Say it's not so, Mr. President. We got 3 days until you come into office, and already 60% tariffs are off the board? This is what we're going to deal with, folks. Get ready for it. But yes, the market rejoices. We'll see if we can hold. S&P's right now up by 0.8%. NASDAQ 100 up by 1.3%. But boy, quite a little pullback to kick off in the first half hour of trading, with Microsoft up by 1%, Amazon up by 1.5%, but we were dramatically higher in that pre-market. You jump over to Meta shares. Tesla up by 2.6, and you got to keep your eye on the dollar, man. Good to see the man run the Treasury talking about a strong dollar, but that is a reversal we got going on right now, man. The dollar continuing to drop to weakness at 109.12 right now. Maybe digesting some of the market action in terms of Trump, Xi. Maybe that means it. Our 60%. I mean, this is the stuff that as market participants you can try and get ahead of. You feed some clues. You just talk to Xi. If he was really going to bring the hammer down in a dramatic way, wouldn't he give some indication of that? Possibly. What are we going to get over the weekend? We get to find out. Gold sitting at 27.44, and we jump over to yields as we wrap it up with the yields right now sitting at about 4.6%. The yield on the 10-year. You take a look at that weekly. Critical area still as you're pushing lower price, higher yield at 108.18 coming into a long weekend. Folks, have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Stay safe out there. Take an Uber if you need to. No drunk driving on a holiday weekend, man, but have some fun. Enjoy it. We look forward to seeing you back here on Tuesday morning, and stay tuned. We got Basil Chapman up next. Steve Rhodes, Larry Pesavento, Jacob Shoup. Have a great one, folks.